climate change adaptation and also the profit seeking together, I think it's also something that policymakers and also our scientists should help the business to do, because there are also some successful experience and past through. There are some enterprises, they already achieve very successful, like the way to how to combine environment, climate change concern together with their business, like the profit-seeking objectives, and also like some besides the demonstration sites for some like the good practice, we can also provide them some like the best available technologies in the region, in the world, and get access and together to utilize such technologies to adapt to the climate change. So I'm also thinking, even if business is not the weakest group in our society, but looks more like in the climate change, the fighting the war, looks like business is some part and relatively weak, or we didn't get more focus on them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing up that very important element of communicating with the business community and bringing them in. So we'll take one more question before our panelists can respond. Yes, the blue shirts.
I like very much the, I'm Edsel Saur, by the way. I'm from the Asian Institute of Technology. I like very much the latest comment on highlighting the role of the intermediary, which I think is perhaps a neglected and even an underestimated challenge. I think there was a reference to the broken triangle between academia, policymaker, science, policymaker, and community. And indeed, it's truncated. But the way really the challenge, how do you bridge that? And we need really to concentrate on developing agents who are good as intermediaries and linkers. For instance, and it's not an easy problem. For instance, academics' business is the business of science. And now, if you come to the community, they have indigenous knowledge. Scientific knowledge and indigenous knowledge are different paradigms. They're different discourses. They work on different rationalities, and yet they have complementary and even sometimes identical explanatory points on how things happen. And it is challenging. We need people who can link them together so that they wouldn't be divided and at war with each other. Also, between science and policy, how do we translate a scientific paper into a policy format, or parts of that paper into a policy format? And how do you make policy papers or proposals that are scientifically sound? But what I'm trying to say is developing the linkers, the intermediaries that will connect this truncated triangle is a big task in itself, and it needs a special expertise and skills. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that very insightful comment. So we have 3 comments. First one on the trust. Would anybody like to know? Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So the province of Albay declared that the climate change adaptation is proclaimed as a governing policy of the provincial government of Albay. So to ensure that the LGUs by the provincial government to integrate their local development planning, that DRRCCA is part of their annual investment plan, and we introduced our overarching philosophy and the change strategy of climate change from we change the traditional. That's why we make a goal first and the rest follows, and we ordain policies, local and national, with articulation with budget. Without budget, you cannot introduce to the local government. Number 2, we focus for the execution. We execute the projects and programs, and we build an institution that focus and monitor all the LGUs. That's why CIRCA is part of the provincial government under by our Green Economist Governor. So, and we introduced to them the governing philosophy of Albay, that we focus on a strong on economy, on a strong on education, a strong environment, and a strong on ethics. That because action on climate change is a moral obligation and duty and responsibilities. So, and we train that. Not only the municipal level, the provincial level, but we focus in the barangay level, the community level. And we train to the 720 barangays, including the chieftains, the secretary, and the honorable councilors of the barangay, and also the barangay police. We train the barangay police because it's the front line of all disaster to the disaster. So we train for the community vulnerability assessment, and that's introduction for the DRR and CCA, and to form the contingency plan. And then that's the input for the comprehensive land use plan. And we introduce again, after that, the series of training, we introduce another round for the transfer of technology using the GIS software, using the rapid earthquake damage assessment system for the hazards, and also for the same claim.
Thank you very much. We have two more points, the business community involvement. Anybody would like to address that? Sure. And also the intermediary agents. Yes, Raman, would you like to go first?
I want to address the last point about science and scientific knowledge and traditional knowledge. And I think whether it's compatible or not. Actually, it is. I mean, if you look at science starts from gathering facts and coming up with a methodology, a theory, and then trying to find a solution. If you have traditional knowledge, you have the solution. But the scientific basis for that is not there. And this is why I think if you look at it, now a lot of scientists, even the private sector businesses, are taking this local knowledge and trying to justify that in terms of a scientific basis. It is happening. I mean, there are many case studies about, for example, in traditional medicine, for example, eventually they find that, there is a scientific basis. Of course, you don't expect the generators of that knowledge, without the rigorous academic training and so on, to have said, okay, this is why it works. To them it works. They have found the solution. So I find more and more there is a very strong linkage between the two, and I think we need to exploit that. And only when we exploit that, then we can make sure that that triangle doesn't remain broken. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter.
In addition,
yes.
About the partnership from science to policy, that we are practicing the collaboration of all the colleges and universities in the Bicol region, and we invite all scientists and experts to share their expertise and knowledge, not only to put in a box, but we ask them to share and integrate in our practices, local practices. So the science program, the science issues to policies in Alba is very easy, because the governor is the RDC chair. They order all the interagency members to come up their own policy and integrate and embed or implement DRR and CCA measures.
Thank you, Peter. Yes. So the organizers wish us to keep the lunch time at 12:30, so we could take a couple of more last points, and then we should stop. So yes.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm Randeep from Environmental Matters in India. When we are talking about capacity building for adaptation, mainstreaming, what we are more focusing on is, I think, funds and activities. We can also look into some structural and institutional changes which we can bring into the different partner countries, which will be more helpful than pilot project and activities. Like there are Panchayati Raj institutions and municipal laws. If we can bring out structural changes in these to address climate change, it will be very useful. A simple example is, being an engineer, we are designing our sewers for a 25 mm intensity rainfall these days. But then suddenly the intensity of rainfall has increased. Now, in spite of this, all cleaning and of sewer systems, even the very good cities like Chandigarh, from where I am, they are not able to handle the first hour of the rainfall. The entire city gets flooded. So these kind of, unless these kind of structural and institutional changes in our basic laws are not happen, this entire thing will not move down, which is, I think, our ultimate goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that point. Yes.
Again, my name is Kian, Mekong River Commission. This morning I just gave questions that we are gathering here to hear not just why we need to mainstream, but how. Now I get the questions. Thank you very much. But I would like to share some of our experiences or view. First of all, I think that very important that we need the lesson learned. But from our point of view, we see that we need not just good lesson learned, we need bad lessons of how people maladapt. And sometimes the effort to make the immediate coping make people or some location be more vulnerable. So this is quite important, how to get this over time and assess it. So from this we link to another question: how we can measure what is the good mainstreaming and what is bad mainstreaming. I can give just very simple, let's say, example for the Mekong Delta that GTZ and Red Cross have helped to develop a project on mangrove protection. The project was very successful until the local government someday decided that the shrimp farm is more important. So they destroyed everything. So it's very important to see what is the bad lesson. The second thing I would like to
Can you make it short, please? We are running out of time. Yes.
The second thing is that